This is Newcap News with Lauren Poland.
Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. A milestone for North Battleford is being celebrated in style. As Bart Padiasic explains, the town has a whole year's worth of events commemorating its 100th birthday.
The new logo for North Battleford was revealed at the Centennial press conference this morning.
We're very proud of our logo. We've been working on that since March of 2012, and so it's been hidden in the closet, and we've been anxious to bring it forward to the community.
One time the capital of the Northwest Territories, North Battleford has a rich history to celebrate.
And of course, when the plans for the railway came north, that changed the dynamics a whole bunch, and therefore North Battleford became the primary center. And now we're here to celebrate that.
To celebrate the Centennial, North Battleford will host 7 community events, including an opening ceremony December 31st, the official birthday party on May 1st at Central Park, and closing ceremonies next December.
All those events mean that the city is looking for more volunteers to help out.
We're going to just need as many ideas as we can to make these events as successful as we can, and we want everyone to be able to have a say and to be able to show their pride, their North Battleford pride. So come on out, volunteers.
For a full list of events or to find out where you can volunteer, visit the website on your screen. Bart Padiasic, Newcap News.
Meantime, Battleford RCMP are still searching for a missing senior. Police say 83-year-old Bernice Carnahan was last seen Friday morning in Rabbit Lake. It's believed she was on her way to Battleford. Her vehicle was found near Finlayson Island. Carnahan is described as 90 pounds, about 5 feet 6 inches tall, and she wears glasses. She was last seen wearing a white short-sleeve shirt, a blue quilted jacket, and navy blue pants. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Well, many candidates have already thrown their names in the ring for the upcoming municipal election, but now it's official. Nomination packages are now available at City Hall for those vying for a spot on council or the school board.
I would just like to encourage anyone who is considering let their name stand, make sure that you pick up your papers, get them signed, make sure your nomination forms are correctly filled out, and that they're back in here by 4 o'clock September 19th.
Nomination papers are slightly different for the city and school board. Those running for council must get at least 25 signatures from eligible electors, but only 10 signatures are required for the school board.
We will announce candidates after the deadline for withdrawing your nomination. The deadline for withdrawing your nomination is 24 hours after the deadline for filing.
Candidates can submit their forms between September 4th and the 19th. For more information, you can visit the city's website. A scary situation outside Lloydminster last weekend as a pickup truck went up in flames Saturday. This was the scene around 10:30 Saturday night on Highway 3 east of Lloydminster. Fire officials say luckily there were no reports of injuries.
Quickly able to put it out, there'll be considerable damage to the vehicle. We'll certainly be looking at a cause and everything as we move forward.
The cause is still under investigation, but fire crews don't believe foul play is to blame. Well, sending flowers to a friend has never had more meaning. The SPCA is again pairing up with Growers Direct for its annual Friendship Flower Day. Elise Cox has all the details.
The SPCA faces this problem every year, a higher number of adoptable animals because of the slower summer months.
Things seem to sort of slump for us just because people are away, they're on holidays, there's lots of other things going on. So this is a great timed event for us.
So their annual Friendship Flower fundraiser helps them cover their increased operational costs while spreading a little love throughout the city.
Who doesn't like getting roses? It's a fun little thing. To get a dozen roses for $20 is a pretty amazing deal, and it's a great way to support the SPCA.
The flowers are supplied by Grower Direct, who prepare 750 dozen roses, but the extra work isn't given a second thought.
Well, the SPCA is very near and dear to my heart, and I think they do need a lot of support from the community at this time.
However, there is one rule when buying this arrangement.
You're supposed to keep one rose and then pass the other 11 on to friends, family, co-workers. You could pass it along to a stranger just to brighten their day, anything like that.
The event takes place on August 23rd, and if you can't make it, pre-orders are being taken at the SPCA. Elise Cox, Newcap News.
On this month's one-on-one RCMP interview, I sit down with Lloydminster's top cop to talk about gun violence throughout our region and if residents here should be fearing for their safety. Mass shootings and gun violence have topped headlines over the past month with the shooting sprees in Aurora, Colorado and Wisconsin. But locally, gun violence is still a major issue. Within the last few weeks, there's been a shooting on the Saddle Lake First Nation, sending 2 people to hospital, an armed robbery at gunpoint in North Battleford, and of course, the scare here in the border city behind the courthouse. I'm here with Staff Sergeant Dave Callist. Thank you very much for joining me, Staff Sergeant. And here in our region, is gun violence a major concern?
Well, I think gun violence is a concern any place you go, but the thing that we find is that the gun violence, I don't think it's really the problem that sometimes the media makes it out to be. Certainly, it grabs a lot of headlines when it occurs, but for example, in 2011, we responded to 12,500 calls for service in the border city, and of those, less than 25 dealt with any type of a firearm.
So what are some of those other stats here? Do you have any other hard numbers from our region?
We don't. Some of them include certainly people thinking that a firearm is involved when it's not, and that gets included in the statistics. But actually we see very few incidents of actual gun violence where a firearm is used. And when we do, it's usually targeted. So we're talking about potentially domestic violence cases where a firearm is involved, or gang violence where it's between 2 parties that are having a dispute. So the threat to the general public is not, we don't see it as being there the way that maybe some people feel that it is.
So do residents, I know these are happening around the region, do residents have a reason to be worried or scared?
You know what, I don't think so. The numbers just don't reflect that. Certainly, gun violence can happen, but you're more likely to suffer an injury as a result of a traffic accident than be involved in any type of incident involving a firearm or somebody that's using a firearm in the commission of an offense.
So how can people protect themselves, since these are targeted attacks, targeted incidents, but we did have two drive-by shootings, one at the end of December and one at the beginning of January, that were both in public places, the Tropical Inn and a residential area. So these are still happening right here in our region. How do people protect themselves?
Well, I think that being aware of your surroundings is certainly always, it's a prudent course of action to take. I think that the recent incident that we had at the courthouse, is a good example of that. We had people that were walking by the male that we eventually dealt with, and they had the presence of mind to spot them and leave the area. So if you're aware of your surroundings and something doesn't look right, it probably isn't, and we'd say just leave the area, call 911, and then the police will handle it.
So definitely, if you do see anything, don't take matters into your own hands.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us, Staff Sergeant. Again, that's Staff Sergeant Dave Callist with the Lloydminster RCMP.